Someone knocked at my door. I opened it up and there was a teenage boy there, and he said, "Sir Mark, bad guy bang bang you." Hey everybody, my name's Mark and I'm from the USA. I'm from Virginia, and in the USA there are places that you would never go. Places in Philly, places in Baltimore, Southeast DC. I don't care what color you are. Most people stay out of those areas for a reason. The Philippines has the same places. If you look back on the news about a month and a half ago, a young man from America went to the Philippines. He went to the red zone. The red zone is an area of no-go. You don't go there. And that's where he went. And he even knew he was in the red zone. He was in a heavy Muslim area, high kidnapping, don't go. Okay, common sense. There are other scenarios and situations you shouldn't get yourself into. And so I'll go over that, and I'm also going to let you know how I almost got killed by a hitman in the Philippines, and I'll let you know what happened, and then you could just kind of like entertain yourself, and also, hey, I'm not going to do that. Before I tell you that, I want to tell you first, I don't live in that area anymore. I live in Davao Oriental. It's a first-class municipality. It's the 7th richest province in Mindanao. The police are proactive looking for bad guys, and it's clean, it's safe, it's quiet, and that's where I live. Where I was farming. I'm not going to tell you what province. It's far away, many hours away. And anyway, this is how it started. I was farming with an Italian guy named Marco. He was the money, I was the boots on the ground running the day-to-day operations. He had a corporation. He was involved with other in-law Filipino relatives. They created a corporation. A corporation can buy land, a foreigner cannot. He bought 15 hectares of farmable land, and the owner, about a 70-year-old guy, he still stayed in the picture. Anyway, Marco farmed potatoes, bell peppers, and tomatoes. Tomatoes, bell peppers, and potatoes. I farmed cabbage, carrots, and broccoli. Why? All of those are 100-day crops, so you can get 3 cycles in a year. They're relatively easy to grow. Carrots are very easy. And so the scope of my farm was, that I grew, not Marco, the scope of the farm was, at any given time, I would have between 30, 40, 50,000 heads of cabbage. I would have carrots. Carrots are grown in a row, so picture a trough in the dirt that's maybe 20 feet long or 7 meters, and you sprinkle the carrot seeds in there, and then you thin them out to 1 carrot plant every 3.5 to 4 inches, and that row would have a few dozen carrots. I had about 120 rows of each one was 20 feet long. That's a lot of carrots. Broccoli, sometimes I had 10 or 12,000 broccoli plants. So, we're not farming on a huge scale, but we're not backyard gardeners. And I paid very close attention, and you get your workers, they just live in the area, you pay them a daily wage, and they do everything for you: planting, plowing, weeding, harvesting, all of it. And I was doing good. One time I harvested cabbage and made 200,000 pesos in one harvest. That's $4,000. So what I didn't know then that I know now is that the neighboring farm, the wife was very jealous, didn't like me, could look over and see all the produce that we were growing and how healthy it looked, and she was eaten up by jealousy. And I didn't know it then, but I know it now. So the workers come and go. Some of the same workers that would work on her farm worked on my farm. The only difference was I paid the workers more than more, sometimes triple of what she paid them. She was exploiting the workers. I'm giving them more than what I had to. And also I would give them chicken, roasted chicken, which they never had. These people are so poor that they only eat the most basic food, nothing yummy and juicy like rotisserie chicken, mango sweet bread. And so things were going good. And then we were going up and down the highway, me and Marco, and we saw people walking at 5:30 and 6. And when I say people, sometimes dozens of people. These are the poorest of the poor walking to some rich person's farm and being day labor and then walking home. And of course, I like to help people. And I'm like to Marco, what can we do to help these people? Well, we came up with a plan that if you wanted, we would put 2 of the plastic 55-gallon drum barrels, those would be for water, on your property. We would provide seed, manure, the labor to get your seed bed, which you might need 15 people for 2 days. We paid for all of that. Then the farmer and the landowner, the poor guy that owns the land where we're getting ready to plant, he gets his own property ready. We don't do any of that. Then it's transplanted, and I stop at least once a week and say, hey Edwin, how's it going? And do you need anything? When you need manure, which is chicken manure, and you can buy chicken manure in 3 different strengths. You don't want to go too hot, so it depends on the plant. And so I paid for the manure. The manure was delivered. I paid for it. And then when it came time to harvest, we would harvest, and that's how it went. And then I had a baby bongo, and we would get the vegetables 3 hours away. I didn't take a penny except for the blue barrels of seed and the manure. And sometimes that Filipino family would get $1,000 in their pocket. They've never had that amount of money. It's almost like the guy wanted to run faster than the truck could go 3 hours back to the farm. He was ready to plant. And so a guy came over that was working with me, and he was absolutely incredible on farming. He could do anything. He also works for Glane. He asked me, Sir Mark, can I participate in that? He had almost 1 hectare of land, right? A lot of these poor Filipino families, they at least got a decent piece of land. I said, sure. That was that Glane couldn't take that anymore, because now I'm helping him become sustainable, and Glane doesn't need him anymore. So I came to the farm one time, and it was a drought that year. And in between our farm and her farm is a little creek. Sometimes it's only a trickle. That's precious water right there. And so me and Marco got together. There's rocks everywhere, round rocks in the Philippines everywhere. And so we got cement and sand and labor, and we built a dam using that material that was probably 5 feet high and 5 feet thick. You don't want to make it too high. The water will push under. And so how big was it? Imagine water up to your hip, and imagine a jacuzzi that would hold 8 or 10 people. Put 2 of those side by side. That's how much water we had. Horses came and drank, cows came and drank, and then we would pump water from that reservoir up to where our crops were. And I made a big, almost like a pool, lined it with plastic, and we filled that pool from the reservoir. Then we would take the pump and go up to the reservoir, attach a garden hose to the water pump, and it worked out beautifully. And so, but now I get to the farm. The pump is sitting right there. I'm like, why aren't we pumping water? Sir Mark, there's a man on the dam with a gun, and he says it's Madam Glane's dam. And I'm like, what? I got mad. Let's go. Bring the pump. Me and 2 workers in the pump went down. Sure enough, there's a guy about 50 years old wearing flip-flops, shorts, and a military camouflage blouse top and a belt, and he's got his little 45 on his hip. I don't care. I walked up to him. Now, I'm 6'6". I walked up to him, and his face, because I got face to face, but his face is in my chest. I said, what are you doing? and he's talking to my chest. Sir Mark, this is Madam Gwain's dam, and no one can touch the water. And I'm like, what? She didn't build, and I looked back and I looked at his face and I'm like, I know you. You helped build this dam. You sat right on that rock over there and I fed you lunch and you got paid for your day's labor getting rocks for the dam. What do you mean it's Madam Gwain's dam? Get on out of here, right? And I could tell he didn't want to deal with me in English. His English is almost zero. He's intimidated. He knows he's telling a lie. Gwain told him to come down and cause problems. He tried, it failed. The next thing after that, when you spray pesticide in the Philippines, it's a backpack tank, and the guy's pumping, he's got a little hand crank, and then he's spraying like this. So someone came onto my property and sprayed the what you would go Roundup, or it kills everything, grass, weeds, whatever. And so I would come to work and there would be maybe 200 or 300 heads of cabbage are dead. Well, who did that? Yeah, but you can't guess. So she started doing things like that. And then a teenager, and I lived 17 kilometers from the farm on purpose. Nobody in the area knew where I lived. There was a knock on my door. I opened the door. It was a teenage boy. Sir Mark, bad guy, bang, bang, you. Well, I don't need an interpreter to know what that means.